Okay, so I'm going to keep this brief and to the point because a lot of you have the attention span of a goldfish. For all my men who are biblical, who worship God, you have been burdened with a daunting responsibility. And I really want to focus on one thing for this video here is relationships. Because if there is anything in this life that can bring a man down, it is a woman. And that's not to degrade or to step on women or to trample on them or anything like that. It's to really drive it home for some of us because I've been in this situation. I have friends who've been in this situation. And I know men in general have been in this situation. Shoot, Solomon been in this situation. So I really want to emphasize on this, that when it comes to relationships, we need to be cautious. Like, protect that with your life. Have biblical standards when it comes to relationships. That should be the easiest thing, and yet we fumble so much about it. It's laughable, to be honest. We get into these relationships, we have these expectations, we have these false beliefs that aren't actually true. So when I say have some biblical standards, I'm saying hold yourself accountable. And if the woman isn't meeting, if you or the woman are not meeting biblical standards, it should not happen. So I do have a list here. We should understand we cannot lead women to God. We can only guide them via the Bible or invite them to church. That's probably like the first thing that you should be understanding here. You cannot ever lead a woman to God. Okay, if that is not your woman, you cannot lead them to God. It's just, especially if they're not a believer. No, forget it. Don't try to play God. Don't try that. Romance is not the way to lead a woman to God. That's dumb. Okay. But if our relationship with God ain't solid, it'll be like the blind leading the blind. The worst thing you can do is try to lead a woman to God, and you're not even in a solid relationship with God. That's like worse than the first part. And that is from Matthew 15:14. If you want to go and check that out. As men, we are the spiritual leaders of our household, and if we are not right with God, we cannot lead or even be trusted with his daughters for their hand in marriage. I want you to start thinking of women as all of them are daughters of God, okay? So in that aspect, you should also be thinking like, am I worthy to have this woman's hand in marriage? Say there's another person with the exact same qualities that you have right now. Would you trust that guy with your daughter? If your answer is no, you need to reevaluate yourself and you need to work on yourself. If the woman ain't a believer or living a Christian lifestyle, don't listen to her when she says, "Oh, I'm Christian." Actually look at her lifestyle. Is she leading a Christian lifestyle? Is she doing the things that a Christian ought to be doing, or is she wishy-washy? You shouldn't be attempting to court a woman who is a non-believer for your own spiritual integrity. Do not compromise your spiritual integrity trying to court a woman because you see potential in her. Do not be unequally yoked with non-believers. I understand that a lot of us have this misconception about non-believers and you being permitted to date them, court them, and all that. It's not biblical, okay? And I actually had a conversation with my friend about this. Actually, I'm having the same conversation I had with him. Cause me and him, we've been down this road a little too many times, and I'm like, hey, yo, I'm tired of it. We need to get right. We need to get right, because we've been doing this too much. So he had the misconception that, First Corinthians 7, and I'm like, yeah, I had that belief as well. He had the misconception that First Corinthians 7 is like, well, aren't they made holy by you? And I'm like, okay, yes, it does say that. However, that Bible verse, for those who are not in the known, that Bible verse is only for those who are already married to a non-believer. That is all it is for. Do not be unequally yoked with non-believers. The only exception to that is if you were ignorant before, or if you are a non-believer. If you're ignorant or you were a non-believer and you became a believer and you're still married to them, then okay, it's fine. They're made holy by you. If you just outright ignore the verse and you decide to go and court a non-believer, yes, that still applies, but come on now, you're sinning at that point. You're willfully sinning for the sake of just, come on. You know what I'm saying. Have you conquered lust? 2 Timothy 2:22. I'm going to say this, and we're just going to keep it moving. No woman of God deserves a man who hasn't conquered his lust. Are you in a position to be in a relationship? Is your relationship with God strong enough to handle a relationship? And I say that because oftentimes in relationships, we get distracted and we tend to put God on the back burner. God should be at the forefront of any relationship. That includes friendships, families, romantic ones. He should be at the forefront of all of them. If he's not at the forefront, reevaluate your priorities. Put God at the forefront, especially when it comes to potentially having a lifelong mate. Are you willing to lay down your life for her? That is for Ephesians 5:25-27. And if you don't know that verse, I'll just quote that for you. Men, love your wife as Christ also loved the church and laid down his life for her. If you are not willing to die for your spouse, you shouldn't even be thinking of courting. Examine yourself. Always examine yourself. You should have so much self-awareness, it's flabbergasting. Why do you want to be in a relationship? A lot of us just don't want to be lonely. A lot of us just want affection. A lot of us is this or this or that or that. Is it loneliness? Is it lust? What is it? Why do you want to be in a relationship? Do you just desire to spend the rest of your life with someone? That's not bad. If you just desire to be with a lifelong person and whatnot, that's fine. That's cool. But really do evaluate your priorities, evaluate why you want to be in a relationship, and actually think about, is it a good reason? Are you happy being single? If God called you to a life of singleness, would you be opposed to that? Now, wanting and needing are two completely separate things. Do not put them in the same category. Are you healthy? Do you have some big burdens? Are your communication skills good? Have you healed from trauma? We're always going to have a little something that carries into our relationships. No one is going to be 100% perfect or healthy, and you shouldn't expect them or yourself to be. However, there is a point where it is too much. And that goes for men and women, but we're focusing on our men here. Are you healthy? Are you eating healthy? Are you going to the gym? Have you worked on any mental, emotional traumas in your life and whatnot? Have you worked on that? Because if any big burdens that could compromise a relationship sneaks into this relationship, it's going to be problematic. And it could compromise the relationship entirely. If it's something that you was blind to, it was a blind spot, that's one thing. But if it's well known and you are so intent on wanting a relationship that you're like, oh, it's fine, I'll deal with it while I'm in a relationship, You might want to push the brakes and be like, you don't want this person to have to deal with this when you can deal with it on your own or be going to seek counseling about it or something. They shouldn't have to deal with everything that you have to deal with. Your woman should not have to deal with that. She's not your therapist. She's your rib. She is meant to uphold you, exalt you, and support you through whatever journey that you have in life. And it is your job to take care of her, protect her, and make sure that she has everything that she needs and can be in the position to help you out. She can't do that if you have not if you're not protecting her from your burdens. Projection can happen, domestic violence can happen, Lord forbid that comes to pass. A whole bunch of things can happen, and your burdens could potentially hit her. By that, I mean it could mentally mess her up, emotionally mess her up. So you really want to, I really want to emphasize that one. You really want to be careful before you even think of a relationship. So start writing a journal or something. Write out your journal. Have some meditation on the word. Just really think about it. Just really examine yourself. Self-awareness is key. Okay. Are you striving to be the best version of yourself? Your wife deserves the best version of you, who God has called you to be. Okay? This is not just a message for y'all, it's a message for me. It's to keep me accountable because I've been in too many relationships that have compromised me and my faith and a whole lot of other stuff. Your wife is going to be your rib, all right? She deserves the best version of you, the best version of yourself that you can offer her. You will always be on this self-improvement journey. Don't ever think that you're going to stop. But she deserves that best version of you who's going to always be doing that. The best version that you can offer her when she comes into your life. When God says, okay, you're ready. She deserves nothing less. If you aren't obeying Christ, you won't submit to your wife when the Lord uses her to speak to you. You need to be humble enough to listen to her when God is using her to speak over your life, to speak to a situation. Do not get a big head thinking you're the head and she's your rib. That she's not your feet. She's your rib. Ribs perform three primary functions for the body. Protection of vital organs, like the heart and lungs. That means your woman is vital, all right? She protects those vital spots. She is the protection of people who could come into your life and hit those vital spots to pretty much bring you down. All right? She's there when people are trying to mess with you and hit those areas that they know are your weak spots. She protects you. Structure and stability. You ever heard of a housewife? They're not to be trampled on. Like, your house is either going to be a peaceful environment, or if you're acting up, it is going to be freaking chaos. She provides structure and stability. Your provider, yes, you do offer structure and stability in its own right by money for the house, money for clothes, shoes, or groceries or whatever. But your wife can offer structure and stability in her own way, just by having the house clean, the kids who are taken care of, they've eaten before you got in home and whatnot. Women can take a whole load off your shoulders. They offer structure and stability. That's a rib cage, my guy. And movement by providing attachment points for muscles used in breathing. Once again, they can take a whole load off of you. And women can literally take stuff out of your way. They like, you're busy doing this. She's like, okay, I'm gonna give you some breathing room, all right? You can go, I'm gonna handle this. You go and handle what's most important. I don't think you understand how much peace that brings to a man. Of course, there's more biblical symbolic meanings to It's like closeness and unity. Um, the fact that the woman was taken from the rib cage of Adam rather than like the head or the feet, because the woman's not supposed. It's not taken from the head to not be like ruling over us, and it's not the feet so that the woman is not to be trampled on, but they are the rib to be our partner, your partner in crime. The You're looking ahead, she's looking behind you, make sure no one's coming against you. She can see things that you can't see. And if you're going to have a wife, she deserves the best. We are the head, all right? We're the head. We got to lead. We got to lead by example. And since we're the head and we're the leaders, and she is, our partner in crime, it is our duty to make sure that we protect her. And that means we have to protect her from ourselves as well. We have to protect her from the worst version of us. Got to. They fill in the weak spots in men. Being nurturing, seeing stuff from another perspective that we can't see. They fill in the blind spots that we have. Where we are weak, they are strong. And when they are weak, we are strong. Two halves of a whole. So, I'll leave you off with this. Men, you have been burdened with a daunting responsibility. And I advise that you take some time to think about how you uphold it. Remember, transient guests, are we?
Been burdened with a daunting responsibility, Ruby. I advise you take some time to think about how you will uphold it.